Roger Ailes and Rupert came to me. We had 4 cable stations, and we regulate cable in New York. And they said, this is a violation of free speech. They won't let us on. I gave them the foreign language station, and they paid me 4 times what I was getting for it, and the city made a big bundle off Rupert. But I got sued by Turner, and then after 8 months, they settled it, and Fox had New York.
Wow.
Now, they keep me off because I'll go on there. They want you to go on, and particularly maybe now they've changed a little, but you can't say stolen election.
No. I was scared to even bring it up because YouTube just barely changed their rules about being able to even say that word.
Yeah, I mean, how un-American is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's why Trump and everybody else is in trouble because they questioned the election just like Hillary did every day for 4 years after she
I'm
lost.
indicted for that.
I know.
And the penalty would be 20 years, and I'm 79 years old, so I die in jail. Fannie, I can't remember her last name.
Fannie Willis.
Oh, yeah, the pretend district attorney in one of the most crooked counties in America wants to put me in jail until I die. Let's compare what she's accomplished as DA and what I accomplished as a prosecutor. She's accomplished 0, and I accomplished something. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Rudy, you didn't trend on Twitter every single day talking about, we got him now, Russia, Russia, Russia. You weren't in that. That was able to hold America's attention since 2016. All bullshit.
And Roseanne, it was completely 100%, not only untrue, invented and paid for.
Yeah.
By Hillary.
I didn't know that last part. One of the reasons I defended him, I volunteered to defend him was, he's been my friend for 30 years. My son is very close to him. And I was with him for the last 4 months of the campaign, almost from dawn to when he went to bed. And I knew there was no Russian collusion, because if there was, I'd have felt it, I'd have seen it, I would have known it. He's not a man who hides things.
No, he's definitely not.
He would have talked about it.
Yeah.
First of all, he wouldn't have thought it was wrong. I mean, if he did it, he would have thought it was okay. And
he doesn't do anything he thinks is wrong. That's what people don't get. Because if he did, he would feel bad because he knows he has to talk about it.
I mean, I was his lawyer, and he had. There are times, of course, it's privileged. He would come to me and say, "Get me an opinion on what's legal," and you would give him the opinion, and he would follow that to
Of course.
And I remember another time when somebody recommended doing something that was outrageous, and he just threw them right out of the White House. Also, there were people that stopped supporting him. He never talks about this. Maybe I shouldn't. People that stopped supporting him because he was too hard on China. And I'm talking about,
I'm sure,
hundreds of millions. Basically, he told them in a nice way. I would have said, go to hell. He said, he just ignored them. I just said, no. And they said, you'd do far better if you'd soften up a little. You'd raise a lot more. And Biden wouldn't be outraising you and the Democrats if you went a little easier on China.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically said, I'll never do that.
Yeah.
And I have a much worse temper. I was ready to go punch them in the face and beat them up because I thought they were traitors for doing that.
They are.
They are.
Yeah. They are, 100%.
I mean, I just think that people don't realize, and I didn't realize until maybe 5-6 years ago, how brilliantly and evil but brilliant China invaded us.
Oh, didn't it? Took them like
they own our
30
universities.
years. Yeah.
They own a lot of our companies because
they own our ports.
Our companies want the profits in China because they see it as 5 times America. I've been told that. Mm-hmm. By Republicans and Democrats, we can give up our business in America and we can make 5 times more in China. They're making the wrong bet because they don't realize the Chinese economy has a hydrogen bomb right in it, and it's those 700 or 800 million people that can't eat.
Yeah,
they're going to rise up at some point. It's just at some point, China's going to have to do something about them if it wants to lead the world. And they don't factor that into the Chinese economy. If you factored that into the Chinese economy, it's actually an extremely weak economy. And a lot of people are seeing that now.
They don't factor that into our economy either, do they?
No, they don't. They try very, very hard to hurt our economy, so we'll become part of the Soros, Klaus Schwab, Barack Obama, one world. Yeah. That's where they're headed. Mm-hmm. They're headed, all that stuff about burning down statues, burning flags, taking a knee, saying terrible things about America. I mean, Biden goes out and says America is systemically racist. Mm-hmm. Now, here's what that means. He doesn't know what it means. He didn't know what it meant before he became demented. I'll tell you about him in a minute. But what that means is we're all racist. Can you imagine telling your country you're all racist? I'm not. Don't talk for me. I'm not racist. I grew up with white kids, black kids, Irish kids, German kids, Jewish kids, Italian kids. The one who was on my side was my friend.
Right.
And when we had fights, if you were on my side, if the black kid was on my side, he was the best guy up there.
That's how it works in the real world.
And that's the way it works in the real world. And I just don't evaluate people on color. And I think people who do, I think there's something wrong with them. So,
you know what it is? They do it because they don't live in integrated neighborhoods. That's the real fact
Isn't
about
that interesting?
the Democrats.
Yeah.
I always made sure, I'm like Trump. I think of Trump as being on the autism spectrum himself.
Isn't that interesting?
There's a certain way we are with people like me, and probably you too, Rudy.
I got to go check it.
We have to, no,
but really.
Those of us who talk a lot about what's inside, well, we have to tell the truth because we'll look like, whatever we say has to be true because we don't remember if we lied. We'll just say it. It'll just come out, because we just have to say. So if we're doing something bad, we'll say that too. So we have to have a clean conscience in order to live. We have to do that.
You're absolutely right. He will tell stories about himself that don't make him look like perfect, like things. They're not wrong or illegal, but things that are not flat. He'll just say it. Everybody else would hide it. The usual politician would hide it, and Biden would make it up completely.
Right.
I mean, you're not going to get out of him things like, he went to the top of a tree during battle and gave a medal to a guy who refused it.
Or that he was under sniper fire in Afghanistan.
Yeah, and it turns out the guy, he never gave the guy. Not only wasn't he there, he wasn't on the battlefield. He wasn't even the guy who gave the medal to this soldier who turned it down. It was done in the White House, and the guy who gave it was Obama. And the guy originally said he didn't think he was worthy, but it wasn't him. It was Obama who did it. So that thing in the White House becomes him on a battlefield almost getting killed, because this is a truly sick man. I've known him since 1981, Biden. I even employed one of his nieces in City Hall. I worked on the 1994 crime bill with him, and I helped write the 1994 crime bill because it was actually written in 1982 under Reagan, and I worked for President Reagan, who's my hero. And his college classmate was my chief of staff. That's how we got to know each other. When I got introduced to him, he brought me over and he said, I want you to meet him. He's a really nice guy, but boy, is he dumb. He was the dumbest guy in our law school class. He cheated his way through.
He said he was top of the class.
Well, that's why he did, because he has a chip on his shoulder. This is a guy who grew up as the dumbest kid in the neighborhood, the dumbest kid in the class. That's why you get that, I have a higher IQ than you have. Or I was first in the class and had 35 scholarships. Well, he was second to last, and he had no scholarships, and he got left back in the third grade, and he failed out of law school and had to write a paper to get back in. He plagiarized on the paper, and he charmed the dean's wife, and they let him back in. And then the people in law school liked him because he told jokes, but didn't want to sit next to him because he cheated on everyone, and he would get them in trouble. So then I met him, and for a while I was convinced he was very, very charming, but exceedingly stupid.
Yeah.
I'd come back sometimes from a meeting with him, and I'd almost say to myself, did he really say that? I would tell people to try to describe it. If I say he's the dumbest man in Congress, you're not going to get it. I'm going to ask you to do the following. Think of everybody you know. In your family, you know some dumb people. Everybody does. He's dumber.